Beneath the shadow of Montana's rugged peaks lies a mystery that has baffled scientists and archaeologists for centuries. It's a massive stone structure, older than recorded history, and known only as the Sage Wall. Many experts have described this structure as being a masterpiece of ancient engineering, with its purpose long forgotten and its creators lost to time. But how did this structure come to be in the remote highlands of Montana? And what ancient culture had the knowledge and resources to erect such a massive edifice? And why? Join us on this gripping adventure as we explore the shocking and unknown facts about this prehistoric megastructure, Montana's hidden Sage Wall. In the heart of Montana's wild mountainous backcountry lies an awe-inspiring mystery known as the Sage Wall. This mysterious and monumental structure stretches for an impressive 275 feet, about 84 meters. Some believe the wall may extend even farther beneath the ground. Standing as high as 25 feet, or roughly 8 meters, the tallest stone blocks are estimated to weigh a staggering 91 tons each. And if experts are correct, the wall could reach an astounding height of 40 feet, with another 15 feet of its stonework hidden beneath the earth. What makes the Sage Wall so extraordinary are its precise lines and sharp angles, which sharply contrast with the rugged, irregular rock formations typical of the region. The stones appear as though they were expertly cut and fit together like pieces of a giant stone puzzle, with each block locking seamlessly into the next. Such meticulous masonry is not something granite typically does on its own, leading many to speculate that this could be the work of a prehistoric civilization. The reason most people have never heard of the Sage Wall has much to do with its remote and secluded location on private land. For years, its existence remained a secret, even to the property owners, Christopher Borton and Linda Welsh. Perched on a rugged mountainside, the wall lay hidden beneath centuries' worth of fallen trees, thick undergrowth, and dense foliage. This natural camouflage kept the wall concealed, and only a handful of people had ever ventured close enough to see it. The discovery of the Sage Wall happened relatively recently, and quite by chance. The landowners were clearing a heavily forested area of their property when they stumbled upon the ancient structure. As they cleared away the thick brush and toppled trees, a wall-like formation began to emerge from the mountainside. Their accidental find sparked curiosity, drawing attention from both the owners and researchers eager to understand its origins. What captured the imagination of those who studied it were the wall's perfectly interlocking stones, which resemble ancient polygonal masonry found in far-flung places like Peru, Egypt, Turkey, Greece, Easter Island, and Japan. This led to a thrilling question. Could the Sage Wall be one of the countless megalithic structures left behind by an ancient civilization that perished in a long-forgotten cataclysm? Perhaps Montana's hidden wall holds secrets that stretch back thousands of years, remnants of a mysterious past waiting to be uncovered. Many people brushed off the idea that the Sage Wall could be anything but a natural formation. But how could something so precisely built be just a random product of nature? The wall stands perfectly straight, with clean lines that seem far too precise to have been shaped by erosion alone. This makes us wonder, could it really be natural? One curious feature stands out. Around the world, ancient megalithic sites share a peculiar trait: small, unexplained knobs jutting out from the surface of the stones. These knobs appear in famous sites like Machu Picchu in Peru, the pyramids of Egypt, ancient temples in India, mysterious ruins in China, and so many other places. Yet no one truly understands what these knobs were for. Were they used for construction? Did they serve some unknown purpose? If the Sage Wall in Montana was truly built by ancient hands, wouldn't we expect to find these same strange knobs on its stones too? The Sage Wall offers much more than just strange knobs. As you explore the area, you'll come across long channels and other walls made from tightly fitted stone blocks that have been precisely cut and perfectly aligned in straight lines. It's as if you're walking through the ruins of an ancient complex that once thrived, though now Much of it has crumbled and been worn down by time. Some of the stones even seem to have been purposefully shaped. One, in particular, stands out because it looks a lot like a piece of granite from Karnak, Egypt. It has a clean square cut, a groove running through it, and a circular impression. Despite the heavy erosion, you can still make out these deliberate cuts and lines on the sage wall stone. Above the sage wall, smooth and straight chutes cascade down the mountainside, resembling polished concrete. These chutes likely served as ancient water channels. As you continue to inspect the area, you'll notice many stones with round indentations, known as cup marks, scattered across their surfaces. These ancient cupules are one of the oldest forms of rock art found across the world, dating back to prehistoric times. While we still don't know exactly what these cup marks were used for, some experts believe they may have been practical, possibly used for grinding food or processing material. A geologist's insights. Dr. Stuart Parker, who holds a PhD from Idaho State University and studied at the University of Montana in Missoula, is deeply passionate about understanding how mountains form and eventually wear down over time. Working for the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology, Dr. Parker creates detailed geological maps of the state. His job takes him to nearly every hidden corner of Montana as he studies the fascinating processes that have shaped the landscape over millions of years. Despite all of his extensive exploration, Dr. Parker was astonished when he recently discovered the Sage Wall, also known as the Tizer Dolman. Located right in his own backyard, where he often goes climbing, these remarkable structures had somehow escaped his notice until he saw them in photos. His surprise was mixed with curiosity, as these formations were not far from places he regularly visited. Reflecting on this newfound discovery, Dr. Parker observed that while he has encountered similar geological formations during his many outdoor adventures, the Sage Wall is especially striking. Its grandeur naturally invites comparison to renowned megalithic sites, such as Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Dr. Parker understands why some might believe these formations were crafted by ancient civilizations. However, as a geologist, he sees beauty and symmetry in nature regularly. To him, what may seem like the work of human hands is often the result of powerful natural forces.
People that don't spend a lot of time outdoors, their only association with order is in sort of man-made settings. But to me, I see a lot of order in nature, and then it only seems natural.
Slowly molding the land over countless years. Dr. Parker explained that his training allows him to recognize these natural patterns that often mimic the order and design people typically associate with human-made structures. He pointed out that while most people think of order in terms of the built environment, nature too creates order on its own. In his view, the structured, precise formations found in nature aren't rare or uniquely human. They are simply part of the world around us. For Dr. Parker, these geological wonders, like the Sage Wall, are just another proof of the extraordinary creativity of the Earth itself. When it comes to the mysteries surrounding the Sage Wall and similar structures, Dr. Parker is open to the idea that humans might have had a hand in their creation, but tends to favor natural explanations. As a scientist, he carefully examines all possible explanations, focusing on what seems most likely rather than jumping to conclusions. While he doesn't completely rule out human construction, he believes that natural geological processes provide more straightforward and convincing reasons for the formations we see. Dr. Parker's approach is all about looking closely at the rock and soil to understand what's really happening. He prefers to rely on clear geological evidence, rather than assuming that humans were involved without solid proof. His work highlights the importance of using scientific observations to uncover the truth about these fascinating sites. Analyzing the knobs. Dr. Parker examined the unusual knobs found at the Sage Wall in Montana and offered some intriguing insights. For those who have climbed on granite or desert sandstone, these knobs might look familiar. Many popular climbing routes in these areas use similar knobs as handholds on steep rock faces. Dr. Parker explained that these knobs form in two main ways. First, some knobs have a different composition from the surrounding rock. They are darker, harder, and more resistant to weathering. As the softer rock around them wears away more quickly, these knobs remain and eventually develop into rounded shapes. It's like having a cherry encased in ice. As the ice melts, the cherry stays put, eventually becoming exposed. Second, knobs can form from xenoliths or mafic enclaves found in granite. These are chunks of harder rock embedded within the granite. As the granite erodes over time, these harder pieces create protruding knobs or dimples on the surface. Weathering then wears away the surrounding granite, leaving behind a small ramp or cone-shaped feature where the knob was once embedded. These processes help explain how the knobs at Sage Wall came to be. Though they might look like man-made features at first glance, they are the result of natural geological forces over many years. Dr. Parker also explored whether the arrangement of these knobs might suggest a deliberate design or if they could have formed naturally. He compared the structure of the Sage Wall to examples from Peru. He noted that at Sage Wall, the fractures are primarily horizontal and vertical, creating straight lines and long, linear formations. In contrast, the fractures in Peru are often irregular and step-like, with blocks fitting together in a more complex pattern rather than stacking neatly like bricks. In Montana, the fractures tend to form long, linear lines with many T-shaped intersections, while in Peru, they usually converge into four-pointed intersections. Dr. Parker observed an intriguing pattern in the Sage Wall's structure. He noticed that the wall has joints, or cracks, that run closely together from north to south, creating long, thin shapes. In contrast, the joints running east to west are spaced farther apart, leading to different weathering patterns. These patterns produce long, linear fins and give the wall a broken, wall-like appearance. Dr. Parker compared these weathering effects to those seen in other local rocks, which also show thin, wafer-like formations. He pointed out that the rocks on the ground near the Sage Wall are made from the same material as the wall itself, suggesting they come from the same nearby bedrock. This is different from another site in Peru, where the boulders are neatly gathered in one spot, suggesting a more deliberate arrangement. Dr. Parker admitted that while the Sage Wall looks like natural formations he has seen elsewhere, the organized way the nearby rocks are arranged could hint at human construction. However, he stressed that we need more substantial proof of human activity to support this idea. Both natural and human-made theories can be tested using non-destructive methods. He also explained that while examining the Sage Wall, we saw specific geological features that suggest the rocks formed where they are now and haven't been moved. These features include veins, dikes, small cracks, and certain mineral deposits that cut through the rocks, indicating that the rocks were originally next to each other, and these features developed later. Dr. Parker suggested that the joints in the wall align with regional patterns running north and south. He expected the rock in the wall to have different textures, grain sizes, and weathering characteristics compared to the surrounding ground and nearby boulders. Although the nearby rocks may not be as impressive, their similar orientations reveal insights into the region's geological history. Ancient trap or advanced tech? Some people think that the Sage Wall might have been an ancient structure built to control water flow. Others believe it was an extraordinary hunting ground. They point to the V-shaped, human-sized grooves at the top of the walls, which look like defensive features for archers in a castle. These grooves suggest that the wall might have been designed for strategic advantage, either for hunting or defense. However, British writer and researcher Graham Hancock had a different initial idea. He didn't see the walls as fortifications or farming terraces. Instead, he imagined them as part of a trap used to spear migration herds of mammoths. The Sage Walls are right where the migration route of these massive creatures came to an end. During the Younger Dryas period, when the glaciers were retreating, mammoths roamed the grassy steppes. The walls likely guided them into a position that made hunting easier, at just the right height and distance for effective spearing. The sage walls also show evidence of advanced stone-cutting techniques that are seen in ancient sites worldwide. Even though no pyramids have been found here in Montana with LIDAR, there are still questions about how such sophisticated tools were made. Tools like the worm drill and precise circular saws found at ancient sites like Chichen Itza and Tenochtitlan suggest a high level of craftsmanship. The mystery remains, did these tools come from a lost power source? Or did the walls somehow use water flow for energy? Evidence that the walls were damaged by erosion suggests they suffered from the Missoula floods, which were massive floods that occurred during the Younger Dryas period. The elevation of the walls might have helped protect them from even more destruction. Hancock proposes that the site might be as old as 14,000 years. To truly understand its past, we need to use LIDAR technology to look for pyramid-like structures, ancient bones, and signs of advanced technology from before the Younger Dryas impact. The dirt and sediment piled up against these walls could be a great place to start looking. Hancock thinks this sediment might hide valuable discoveries. The walls weren't just built to hold things back. They were made to offer a secure spot for hunting mammoths. This suggests that there might be old, eroded staircases hidden on the walls. Why would anyone go through the trouble of carefully placing giant granite blocks on both sides of a wall, only to cover them up later? It might be similar to Göbekli Tepe, where ancient structures were intentionally buried. The key to understanding this lies in the soil. Hancock believes the soil around the sage walls might be filled with debris from the Younger Dryas impact, hiding clues about the past. The fact that the sage walls survived massive floods is fascinating and calls for an excavation. Many mysterious questions need answers. If ancient builders didn't have big power tools, could they have used batteries? Could this relate to ancient Egyptian images of electric eels in containers with wires? Was there regular water flow through the channels to help move the quarried stone? There are many more questions than answers, making the site an intriguing puzzle waiting to be solved. Secrets of the Sage Wall. As word about the Sage Wall spread far and wide, the landowners, Christ Borton and Linda, decided to take action. They assembled a dedicated team of scientists, geologists, and archaeologists to delve into the mysteries of the site. Using state-of-the-art tools like ground-penetrating radar, magnetic susceptibility testing, and soil sampling, they began their exploration. They even planned future studies with LIDAR technology to gain further insights. Though their research is ongoing, their initial discoveries have been nothing short of fascinating. One of the first things they noticed was an unusual magnetic property in the granite blocks, something rarely seen in such materials. Magnets, when brought close to the vertical walls, stuck firmly, revealing a surprisingly strong magnetic force at the site. Additionally, the early scans from the ground-penetrating radar uncovered a puzzling feature. The wall stretches 15 feet beneath the ground, with a perfectly flat foundation right in front. Such features are highly unlikely to be formed naturally, suggesting something more deliberate. The site also drew the attention of Dr. Samir Osmanagic, the acclaimed scientist known for discovering the Bosnian Pyramid, which is considered one of the largest and oldest pyramids in the world. Dr. Osmanagic traveled to Montana to study the Sage Wall and concluded that it was likely built by humans. He made an intriguing observation: the wall's alignment perfectly matches the winter solstice, a significant finding that mirrors the astronomical alignments found at many ancient sites around the globe. Dr. Osmanagic observed that the Sage Wall is oriented in a way that is not just a random chance. During the summer solstice, the wall faces southwest, and in the winter, it aligns with the northwest. This careful alignment suggests that the wall was purposely built to track important celestial events like the winter solstice, revealing its ancient astronomical importance. Dr. Osmanagic also noted that the wall's enormous stones, some weighing up to 91 tons, imply a level of technological skill that might have been lost over time. This discovery adds to the mystery of who built the Sage Wall and what kind of advanced techniques they might have used. Additionally, Dr. Samir Osmanagic added that the wall was likely constructed long before the end of the last ice age, roughly 11,700 years ago. He noted that the largest stone at the site weighs an astonishing 91 tons. From this, he inferred that the builders must have had access to some sort of advanced technology that has been lost to history. The sheer size and weight of the stones suggests that the people who created this structure had skills and tools far beyond what we typically associate with that ancient period. When we examine an ancient glacial map of North America from before the Younger Dryas period, the importance of the Sage Wall becomes clear. The wall sits right on a key migration route that linked Asia and North America during the Ice Age. At that time, sea levels were so low that they created a land bridge between the continents. Scientists have long believed that the ancestors of today's Native Americans crossed this bridge on foot and traveled south through ice-covered paths. If we take a closer look at a map from around 11,000 years ago, showing the Cordilleran and Laurentide ice sheets that covered North America, we find that the Sage Wall is perfectly situated between these two massive ice sheets. This location is crucial because it's surrounded by three major rivers that flow into three different oceans, turning it into a key hub for movement and resources. Moreover, the area around the Sage Wall is known to be rich in various minerals. For example, the largest quartz crystal ever found in Montana was discovered here and is now displayed at the Mineral Museum at the Montana Bureau of Mines and Geology in Butte. Could the Sage Wall's incredibly strategic location be just a fluke? Or was it a crucial spot for ancient human activity? Even if someone argues that the Sage Wall formed naturally due to volcanic forces, its position is undeniably perfect. If the wall is as old as some believe, it would have had to endure the massive upheavals from the Younger Dryas impact. This included the terrifying Missoula floods, where enormous glacial floods surged across the land at speeds of up to 80 miles per hour. These floods could have reached heights of up to 400 feet or around 120 meters in some places. Astonishingly, the Sage Wall managed to survive such a catastrophic event. One idea is that the dirt and sediment piling up behind the wall were left there by these massive floodwaters. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the quiet wilderness of Montana, a group of hikers stumbled upon something extraordinary. While exploring a remote canyon, they noticed an unusual formation hidden beneath layers of dirt and overgrown vegetation. At first glance, it appeared to be an ordinary rock wall, but its smooth surfaces and strange geometric shapes seemed too perfect to be natural. Curiosity piqued, and the hikers began clearing away the debris, revealing what could only be described as a massive structure. Soon, word spread, and archaeologists from across the world flocked to the site. After extensive excavation, a series of giant stone blocks emerged, each weighing several tons, perfectly aligned and stacked with an unearthly precision. It became clear that this was no ordinary formation. It was an ancient construction, buried for millennia under the earth. Despite its age, the site showed no signs of erosion, as though it had been protected by time itself. Speculation ran wild. Was this the work of an unknown civilization that had thrived in prehistoric North America? Or was it evidence of something even older, perhaps a relic of a forgotten epoch when humans possessed knowledge now lost to us? Geologists, historians, and even fringe theorists debated its origin. But one thing was certain: the discovery changed everything we thought we knew about history. As the site gained attention worldwide, people came to see for themselves the stunning discovery known as the prehistoric megastructure, discovered in Montana, USA, the Sage Wall. Secrets of the Dolman. If the Sage Wall is indeed part of a grand prehistoric structure that played a crucial role before the end of the last ice age, then we might expect to find more megalithic sites in the surrounding area. And it turns out that a map showing various unusual sites and artifacts near the Sage Wall presents some fascinating discoveries. One particularly intriguing location nearby is the Dolman. This dolmen is situated in a remote and hard-to-reach spot with no cell phone coverage, adding to its mystery. Both Michael Collins, a well-known YouTuber who travels the globe uncovering and documenting ancient sites, and Dr. Semir Osmanagic have thoroughly explored and recorded their findings about this intriguing site. Michael Collins brings his vast audience along on his adventures, showcasing the wonders of ancient locations through his videos, while Dr. Osmanagic, celebrated for his groundbreaking work on ancient structures, contributes his deep expertise to uncover the mysteries of this particular site. Their combined efforts offer a comprehensive look at the site, blending exciting visual storytelling with scholarly analysis. A dolmen is a type of ancient tomb made of large stones, usually with 2 or more vertical stones supporting a big flat stone on top, forming a chamber underneath. These structures are found around the world, with many examples in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Famous ones include the Pulnabron dolmen in Ireland and the Dolman de Menga in Spain. The Tizer dolmen features a large, flat stone resting on several vertical stones, creating a table-like appearance. This setup is similar to other ancient dolmens worldwide. Dr. Osmanagic observed that granite typically breaks horizontally due to natural processes. However, at the Tizer dolmen, the stones break vertically, which is unusual for natural fractures. This oddity suggests that the stones were originally laid out in horizontal layers. Dr. Osmanagic theorizes that the gray granite stones were once part of a horizontal sedimentary formation before being moved and reoriented 90 degrees to create the current vertical structure. Moreover, the massive capstone placed precisely on top of the vertical stones raises questions. It seems unlikely that natural forces alone could have moved such a large block from a higher position and placed it so accurately. The exact placement and alignment of these stones strongly suggests that human intervention, rather than random natural processes, was involved in creating this structure. Michael Collins, however, observed some intriguing details around the site, similar to what he found at the Sage Wall. He discovered several unusual holes and peculiar lines etched into the stones, as well as a large scoop-shaped mark. Additionally, he noted various knobs on the stones, which suggests that they might have been crafted by human hands. It appeared that one of these knobs, located at the base of the structure, was crucial for keeping the entire setup balanced. Without this key knob, the whole structure might not stand upright and could easily topple over. The future of the Sage Wall. A surprising amount of the United States remains out of reach, unexplored, and hidden from the public eye. Many of these untouched areas lie on private property, where their secrets are often left to chance discoveries. While we have vast national parks and government-owned lands, a lot of these places are completely off-limits to ordinary people. At the same time, there seems to be an effort to simplify America's past, presenting it as a smooth journey of progress and civilization. There are groups, even within the scientific world, who have a strong interest in controlling how we think about history. Strangely, the people who should be most excited about new ideas are often the ones who push back hardest when someone dares to ask, "What if?" This goes against the very essence of scientific exploration. But what if we're witnessing this very struggle right now? Take the case of the mysterious Sage Wall, a massive and astonishing structure that has slowly captured the public's imagination. As more people grew curious about it, others, perhaps wanting to keep it under wraps, started paying attention too. Along with this new interest came whispers about the area's valuable minerals. Suddenly, black helicopters began flying over the area, hovering above the wall, their equipment sticking out like ancient spears ready for battle. Notices about upcoming surveys soon started circulating among the locals, leaving many wondering what was really going on behind the scenes. What made this situation even more intriguing was the company selected to carry out these operations. Rio Tinto, a powerful player on the global stage, quickly became involved in the government activities surrounding the site. This British-Australian multinational is the second largest metals and mining company in the world. In 2022 alone, Rio Tinto earned over $55 billion in revenue, and its history dates back to 1873. However, alongside its impressive legacy is a more controversial chapter: its role in destroying ancient heritage sites in Australia to make way for mining. By 2020, Rio Tinto had government approval to demolish 124 out of 327 heritage sites, with 26 already set for destruction. The most infamous of these was Juukan Gorge, a place with a history stretching back over 46,000 years. The caves held stone tools, animal bones, sacred objects, and even human hair that was braided 4,000 years ago. Although the significance of Juukan Gorge became widely recognized around 2009, Rio Tinto still secured government approval in 2013 to start mining, and explosives were used to blast the ancient caves. This raises concerns about the present-day situation surrounding the Sage Wall. For now, the Sage Wall rests on private land, somewhat protected from immediate danger. But its future remains uncertain as Rio Tinto has shown interest in the area. What's clear is that the Sage Wall holds great potential for deep exploration and study. Debate swirls around whether it's a natural formation or something man-made, and opinions are sharply divided. Regardless of its origins, continued research could offer us valuable clues about the region's past. Could remarkable prehistoric structures like the Sage Wall hold the key to unlocking secrets about our ancient ancestors and their forgotten civilizations? Or are they simply natural wonders shaped by time and nature? Let us know your opinion in the comments below.